We never planned it. It just became a habit. Every night when the day wound down, we'd sit for a late snack or drink and talk. "How was your day, Suze?" I asked. "Fine," she said. That was it, most nights. Now and then, if something came up, we'd talk it through. But problems were rare. I always loved those quiet talks, looking into her eyes and knowing everything was okay. After that, I always slept like a baby. But the last 3 mornings had felt off. Not what we talked about, but when and how. Like this morning, the third weird one. I put my toast down, thinking about it. "Do you know anyone with a marriage like ours?" she asked. It caught me off guard, but I stayed calm. "No big deal. Not yet." "Yeah," I said. "Some people say they have open marriages." Her face didn't change much, but I knew better. She wasn't done. "Do I know them?" she asked. "Not really," I said. "Maybe by name. I bet you know people who think they live like that too." "Oh, sure," she said. And there it was, a small crack. I saw it. Sadness hit me right in the chest. She was hiding something. I didn't know what, but I could feel it. It ruined the rest of breakfast. We ate in silence until the kids ran down and filled the room with noise and laughter. With them around, it was impossible to stay down for long. We smiled and joked until I had to leave for work. At the door, she whispered, "I love you, David." "I know," I said. I wasn't angry, but I knew something was off. We talked about everything. We disagreed, sure, but never fought. And yet she was holding back. For the first time in years, I left without kissing her goodbye. Not out of spite, just unsure. Susan wasn't model beautiful, but to me, she was perfect. Dark hair, soft curls, blue eyes you couldn't ignore, and that smile with the dimples. She could make you forget the world. She looked great, dressed up or in a baseball cap and hoodie. Even after 3 kids, she hadn't changed much. I always knew she'd aged like her mom, who I once mistook for her sister. I wasn't just being polite. It floored me. Everyone loved Susan, my friends, Maggie, strangers. She was easy to be around, full of energy, always ready to have fun. And somehow, with her, I opened up. I told her everything. At work, I got there late, nodded to a few people, and headed straight to my office. "All good, Mr. Stevens?" Rebecca Davis, my assistant, asked. "As good as it gets," I said. She gave me a quick look but didn't press. 15 minutes later, she came back with my schedule. "Sales in 30 minutes, King Pharma call at 10, Kipling Manufacturing at 11, she said, then hesitated. "Do you want to go over the afternoon, too?" I stared out the window. Becky wasn't just an assistant. After all these years, she could read me like a book. "Push anything that's not urgent to next week," I said. "Right away, sir," she said, standing up. "Becky?" I said as she reached the door. "Yes, sir," she said. "I need to see Maggie this afternoon." She paused. I could hear the breath catch in her throat. "I'll set it up," she said, then walked out. Maggie Peterson had been my best friend since grade school. Her family moved across the street when we were kids. She was my date to every dance, even prom. She taught me loyalty, how to be there for someone, and maybe, without knowing it, how to love. In high school, we were both stubborn. Maggie wanted to be a lawyer. I had my own big plans. We pushed each other to aim high. Good schools, good grades, dating, not interested. We were too busy chasing goals. But we still had fun. Sports, drama, choir, student council. If there was something to do, we did it. While others were off dating, we were too busy having the time of our lives. I was captain of the basketball team, student council president, salutatorian, and prom king. Maggie was valedictorian, captain of the debate and soccer teams, and editor of the yearbook. I'm still sure she left her skateboard at the foot of the steps the day I tripped freshman year. The next day was the fitness test. A swollen ankle got me a B in gym, which I could have fixed in summer school, but I didn't. That B left me 0.02 shy of Maggie's perfect 4.0. I never proved she did it, but I knew. Maggie never told me she was gay. She didn't have to. I just knew. And she knew I knew. We never talked about it. It brought us closer, if that was even possible. I figured I was her cover. It didn't bother me. She was mine too. Nobody asked why I didn't date much or hinted at anything. I had Maggie, the beautiful blonde bombshell. Too beautiful, honestly. Perfect blonde hair, perfect green eyes. From the outside, we looked like a normal couple. We held hands, hugged, sat close. Sometimes, she'd lay her head on my shoulder, arms around me. The goodbye, though, stuck with me. "Thank you for everything, David. No one will ever understand how much I love you," she whispered. Then she cupped my face and kissed me. I didn't see her again for 7 years. Let me be clear. I wasn't some awkward geek. Sure, I had that phase, but who doesn't? By the time I left home, I was 6'4", 210 pounds, curly brown hair, brown eyes, confident, smart, ready to take on the world. My parents were steady, kind people. They taught me what mattered. Work hard, stay humble, be honest, treat people right. It wasn't that I couldn't date in high school, I just chose not to. Maybe that would have shocked some people. Maybe even Dad. Right before college, Dad pulled me aside in the kitchen, leaning on the counter with that serious face of his. "Davy," he started, voice a little shaky. "I don't think I've said it enough, but me and your mom, we're proud as hell of you. You've turned into the kind of man I always hoped you'd be. I love you, son." "Thanks, Dad," I said, trying not to squirm. Then he rubbed the back of his neck, the classic dad move when he's about to get weird. "So, your mom kind of threatened me with exile to the couch if I didn't ask you this." He glanced around like we were being watched. You still a maiden?" "Yeah," I said without blinking. I was used to his random deep talks. He never made them weird. Well, okay, they were weird, but not in a bad way. He just wanted the truth. He let out this sigh, kind of half laugh, half relief. "Huh, I'll be honest, I'm surprised. You and Margaret were practically inseparable. Thought you might have, you know. But hey, mind if I ask why?" "I'm not gay if that's what you're worried about," I said. I swear he actually breathed out like he'd been holding it in. "Can I ask you something now?" I said. "Shoot. You see Mom as your equal? Like, really?" Dad smiled without missing a beat. "She's better than me at just about everything." I nodded. "When you were in high school, did you meet anyone like her?" "Not even close," he said. "Didn't meet your mom until college." I looked down at the table. "Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot lately. You and Mom, that's what I want. Real love, someone strong, kind, beautiful. Like Mom, that's the goal." Dad blinked a few times, like he wasn't ready to hear that. He looked like he might actually cry for a second. "I met someone who's almost perfect," I said. "Maggie. She's my best friend, always will be. I love her. But we'll never be in love like that." Dad furrowed his brow. "Didn't you just say she was perfect?" "Almost," I said, shrugging. "But the difference? She's gay. She's not into guys. She and Mom just raised the bar so high, I'm not about to settle for less. I'm not awaiting for the one like some fairy tale, but I'm not going to throw myself at the first pretty face either. I want someone who's worth it." Dad chuckled, finally looking like himself again. "Guess your mom was right, like always." "Okay, here's my old man advice. Don't ever lie to a girl just to get your kicks. Be real, be kind, or you'll hate yourself for it later." "That's the plan, Dad," I said. He grinned. "Now I gotta go tell your mother she's right. Again?" "One day you'll learn," I said, laughing. Later that afternoon, Maggie rolled into my room like she owned the place and flopped on the bed. "David," she said, dead serious, "how solid is my prenup?" I spun around. "What? Why?" She shrugged. Stuff. Might be nothing, might be something, but you might want to give it a once-over." "You haven't looked at it lately?" I asked. "Nope," she said, popping the AP. "Have you?" I turned away from the window, facing her. "Mags, you think you can actually tell what someone's thinking just by looking in their eyes?" She tilted her head. "Not everyone, just you." "Same," I said. "You and Susan." Her eyes narrowed. "This about Susan?" "Yeah," I said. "Started this morning." She went quiet for a second, then just nodded. "Okay." College turned out to be everything I hoped for, and a few surprises I hadn't planned on. Still, Maggie stayed my best friend. Even 2,600 miles away, we talked every week. Big news? I mailed her a card. The distance never mattered. I loved the East Coast. Made friends fast, people with different interests, new ideas. I studied hard, partied harder, and threw myself into the whole experience. Harvard fit me like a glove. Honestly, I could write a book about those years, and no, my pureness didn't last. 2.5 weeks, to be exact. I didn't exactly go out looking for trouble, but trouble found me anyway. There were plenty of women with potential, and I didn't waste time. Most weekends had some party, event, or formal, and I rarely showed up without a date. One night, after the Boston Fireworks Orchestra wrapped up, I was walking down the riverfront with Stacy. Let's just say we were more than friends, but less than official. The kind of relationship where no one asked too many questions. She nudged me with her shoulder, grinning. "David, you make every girl feel like she's the only one in the room. You never put on an act, never try to make us something we're not. And damn, you're good at it, she giggled. You want a romantic night, feel like a total princess? Call David. You want to watch the game, drink a beer, and talk trash like one of the guys? Also David. I let out a half laugh, trying not to look too flattered. Thanks, I think. Honestly, Stace, it's probably more dumb luck than any kind of skill. I'm no Casanova. She rolled her eyes and shook her head. Trust me, you've got skills. Her cheeks went a little pink, but she kept grinning. I just wanted you to know, for the whole women's student body, you give us hope. Not all the hot guys are idiots. Turns out Mr. Perfect actually exists, and he plays soccer with us on Saturdays. I scratched the back of my head. Damn, that might be the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, but, I'm kind of focused on just one woman these days. Stacy gave me this mischievous little smirk. And that, David, is exactly why, the second we get to my place, college was everything I'd hoped for, and more than I expected. But through it all, Maggie stayed my best friend. Even 2,600 miles apart, we talked weekly, cards for the big stuff. Distance never changed a thing. I settled in fast on the East Coast, made new friends, explored new interests. Harvard fit me. I studied hard, partied harder. My pureness lasted just 2.5 weeks. Not proud, not ashamed. It was what it was. There were always events, and I never went alone. One night after the Boston Fireworks Orchestra, one of my hookups leaned in and said, half laughing, you've got a bit of a rep, right? That summed up my college life. I was honest, always clear with women. No lies, no games. I treated them with respect, never shared secrets. Somehow I could do no wrong. But the law dream, that faded fast. I didn't love it. I didn't even like it. I found myself pulled toward tech, solving problems, building systems, writing code. I was hooked. So I gave up on Yale Law and pivoted to MIT for an MBA. It was weird for someone without much work experience, but I didn't care. I gave up summers for internships, and it paid off. I interviewed with 4 of Boston's biggest companies. While everyone else aimed for finance or law, I just wanted to learn how IT really worked. That made me stand out. By the time I left Harvard, I had internships under my belt at a law firm, hospital, consulting firm, and a bank. Then 2.5 years at MIT. Tech, innovation, business strategy. No real breaks, just experience. I wanted to build something. I just didn't know how to fund it yet. I figured I'd end up stuck in a cubicle, saving every cent, waiting for a shot, but life had other plans. I met Susan during my last internship, in the pediatric ward of a hospital. She was a nurse, and gorgeous. Hi, I'm from IT, I said. Someone called about computer problems? She looked up and smiled. It lit up the whole room. Oh, thank God, she said. I have no idea what I did, but I can't access the patient files. They're gone. Let's take a look, I said. I tried not to stare, but it wasn't easy. She glowed. I needed her name. I needed not to mess this up. I'm David Stevens. I'll be solving all your problems today. She laughed. Susan White. I'll be the grateful one hovering over your shoulder. Her pager went off. Sorry, she said. I've got to check on a patient. Be right back. The issue wasn't her fault. Files had been deleted hours ago. I pulled the backups, restored them, and watched her as she moved through the room. Calm, warm, reassuring. She took a little girl's hand, smiled at the parents, eased the tension like it was nothing. She came back. Sorry, duty calls. When'd your shift start? I asked. She blinked. What? Your shift? When'd you start? About 30 minutes ago. Then I can officially say the problem wasn't your fault. Her face lit up again. Seriously? She checked her terminal. You're a lifesaver, she said. No, Suze, I said. That's your job. I just fix computers. She turned slowly, smiling wide. Thanks, David. You're very sweet. That was the first time I met the woman who'd become my wife. I went back to IT with a system update request and a heart I could barely hold together. Susan was usually steady, confident, but when she messed up, she couldn't own it. Twice, in 15 years, she hid small mistakes. Once, she forgot a birthday reservation. Doesn't sushi sound fun? She asked instead. Another time, she rear-ended my brand new convertible. Her excuse? Let's take my car to the parent-teacher conference, she said. Harmless stuff, nothing to raise alarms. I wasn't scared to go home that evening, just unsure. I'd had all day to think. Perks of being the boss. I figured Susan would try again to tell me what was really going on, without telling me anything. But what caught me off guard was how she tried to do it. I walked into silence. No kids, no dinner, just soft music from outside. I slid the glass door open with a quiet shove. Sunlight hit me hard. Afternoon, Shannon, I said, voice flat. She didn't flinch, just leaned back in the lounger, bikini top tossed beside her. Well, damn, Dave, didn't expect to see you here. Yeah, guess I've been missing the view. She smirked, eyes hidden behind those big A shades. Come on, man, once you've seen one half-undressed backyard party, you've seen 'em all. I didn't laugh. My eyes drifted behind her. Where are the kids, Susan? Susan, stretched out beside her, didn't even blink, didn't move. They're with my parents, she said like it was no big deal. Me and Shan just wanted a little girl time, pool, sun, no tan lines, you know? Uh-huh, I muttered. She had on those mirrored Ray-Bans again. Reflected everything, showed me nothing. 3 days of this, vague texts, cold shoulders, silence that screamed louder than words. I stepped closer. You ever think about other guys? I asked. Open marriages, that kind of thing. Sound familiar? Susan sat up just slightly, mouth tight, but it was Shannon who reacted first. Yo, what the hell are you talking about? Shannon snapped. You accusing her of something? I ignored her. My eyes were locked on Susan. Her lips twitched, eyes dropped. And that's when I knew. No need for a confession. The truth was sitting right there between us, undressed as she was. You won't say it, I said. Fine. But don't play dumb with me, Susan. I see it now, crystal clear. My fists were clenched, heart pounding so hard I could taste it. Everything inside me screamed to break something. Instead, I swallowed it down. Shannon muttered, Crap. Susan opened her mouth, then closed it. Then, finally, David, I didn't mean... Her voice cracked, and one tear slipped past her sunglasses. Too late. I'll be back Monday, I said, stepping away. Go ahead, enjoy your little vacation, but when I get back, we're talking. No more games? She paled. The blood just vanished from her face like she'd seen a ghost. I turned to Shannon, gave her a crooked smile. Pleasure as always. And hey, nice melons. Real generous of you. Her jaw dropped. Face went red. Didn't say a word. I stepped back inside, door sliding shut behind me. Quiet, heavy. Then I heard it. Susan's shaky breath. She was trying not to cry, still trying to save face. I turned around one last time, voice low. Oh, and Susan? She didn't move. When I hit back, it'll be when I say so. Not you, not him, me. Then I was gone. Which, I think the first sound I heard was her throwing up. Could have been the margaritas. Hell, they'd been at it since noon. Or maybe it was guilt. Hard to tell. But the second sound, that I was sure of, sobbing. The kind that comes from the bottom of your ribs, gasping, choking between cries. She was trying to breathe and break at the same time. Then Shannon's voice cut through the air, sharp and pissed. Jesus, Susan, what the hell did you do? I spent almost a week working up the nerve to ask Susan out. Unusual for me. I wasn't shy. I'd asked out plenty of women, but with her, I needed it to be perfect. I was scared to mess it up. Didn't need to be. Hey, excuse me, David, she said. I blinked out of my daze. She was smiling. Hi, David. I need a favor. Anything, I said. One of the nurses is getting married this weekend. I need a date. Want to come? I'd be honored. First date, her apartment, I knew. She opened the door. Hello, David. Hey, beautiful. Ready? Lead the way. The wedding was fine. I barely looked away from her. She smiled every time she caught me staring. At the reception, she lit up the room. Not loud, just present. I watched her move through every group, always leaving people laughing. I mostly waited, turned down a dozen dance offers. Sorry, waiting for Susan, I kept saying. Eventually, she came back. I didn't expect to be guarding territory tonight, she said. What do you mean? You're kind of a hit, she said. Sorry I left you alone. I'm dancing with who I want, and I'll wait for you. She took my hand. We danced all night. We walked back to her place. Talked about nothing, everything. At the door, she paused. I want to invite you in, but I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm thinking. Can I say something? She nodded. If you let me in, I'll be grateful first. Then, I'll make sure you never regret it. 3 months. We didn't spend a day apart. Then everything changed. I flew back from New York Sunday morning straight to the office, spent the weekend chasing Poughkeepsie rock bands. My thing, no parties, just music. Maggie was already waiting in the conference room. Becky had lunch ready, business as usual. Maggie looked sharp. She always did. Smart, loyal, brutal when needed. Best friend, best lawyer. Her firm handled everything. She handled me. I don't want to be a weekend dad, Maggie. I'm not doing that. At the very least, I want joint custody, I said. Straight to the point, huh? She said, folding her arms, trying to act calm. Yeah, well, you've had, what, 72 hours to get ahead of me on this? So, go ahead. Fill me in, I said, voice tight. She stared at me like she was searching for the right version of me to tell this to, or maybe just stalling. It was short, David. The whole thing. Barely lasted, she said quietly. Yeah, I shot back. Still enough to scratch the itch, though? Her eyes dropped. She locked in on the table like it was suddenly the most fascinating thing in the world. Then, in a whisper, no, it didn't, she said. I know she's your friend, I said. David, I'm sorry. I really am, she said, her voice breaking a little. Yeah? Then why'd you do it? I asked, holding back more than I wanted to. Jesus, she said, shaking her head. Why do you even care how I feel? Because I love you, Mags. I've always loved you. That never stopped. Not even now, I said. She flinched. That hit her. Then her whole face cracked, like she'd been holding back a flood. She's such a goddamn idiot, she said, almost spitting the words. She's not getting anything out of this. Nothing. God, listen to me. Standing here talking crap like I didn't blow this up myself. I'm so sorry, David. I really am. Maggie, I said, more calm than I felt. Yeah, she replied, barely meeting my eyes. Who was it? I asked. Then came the memory. She was sitting across from me that night we didn't fight. The night she said something I should have paid more attention to. You know I'd never be mistaken for a supermodel, right? Susan said, swirling her wine. Only by someone blind, I said, grinning. I mean it. If they saw you the way I do, they'd get it. She blushed, bit her lip a little, gave me that soft smile, the one that used to stop me cold. I know I'm not the kind of woman you're used to being around. Models, actresses, all that Hollywood crap. I'm not playing that game. I couldn't, even if I tried, she said, staring straight at me. I knew what this was really about. As my company grew, I made sure we gave back. Not just checks and photo ops, real work, real hours. I expected more from myself than anyone else. Susan and I spent most weekends volunteering. Literacy groups, child advocates, arts programs, anything the city needed. It helped the company's image, sure, but more than that, it gave me time with Susan. I loved showing her off. I wanted the world to see how lucky I was. Every weekend was an adventure. But the more visible we became, the more I got hit on, sometimes right in front of her. It was subtle at first. Lately, not so much. At one event, a model handed me her card. We'd have an incredible night, she said. Your wife can even watch if she wants. Then she walked away. I turned to Susan, laughing, and tossed the card in the trash. What do you think she meant, Suze? Susan giggled, but the shock was clear. Oh, I think you know. I'm just a man, I said. Sometimes I need help understanding these things. I put my arm around her and pulled her close. There's no competition, honey. Never will be. I'm yours, always. Susan looked at me. David, I hate to sound needy, but you know how handsome you are, right? You attract women like crazy. Don't you ever feel like you settled? No, I said, not once. She bit her lip. Please, make me believe you. I took her hand. Suze, I searched for you for years. I wanted what my parents had. A partner, smart, strong, someone who made me better. The day I met you, I stopped looking. There's no one else. I kissed the back of her hand. I know it's hard seeing how women act around me. And yeah, I get propositions every day. But here's what I think about every morning. I wake up, I see you, and I thank God you're still next to me. Then I ask him to help me make today better for you than yesterday. And when I go out there, I follow one rule. Would Susan be proud of me? That's it. I'm no saint. But I've never liked anyone the way I like you. Susan's eyes filled with tears. David, I swear on my parents' graves, I said, I will never cheat on you. I will never make you ashamed of me. And when we have kids, I'll love them the way I love you. That's all I know how to do. That goes without saying, she whispered. Her eyes burned. I knew that look. I'd seen it before, but never like this. Maggie called me a few months later. David, you need to come home, she said. I miss you too, But I wasn't planning on it until Christmas, I said. It's been years. It's today, David. You have to come home today. Something was wrong. Maggie, what happened? Oh, David, I'm so sorry. Maggie, just tell me, I'll fix it. She sobbed. It's not something you can fix. Your mom and dad, they died in a car accident last night. I blinked. What? They're gone, she said. I don't remember much after that. Susan said I sat there, silent, for 2 hours, then mumbled, I'm going home. Susan packed my bag, drove me to the airport, and waited at the gate long after my flight left, just to be sure I'd boarded. I barely remember the flight, but I'll never forget seeing Maggie at baggage claim. It had been 7 years. She hugged me. I cried until I couldn't anymore. The next 4 days blurred. Forms, funerals, meetings, funeral home, cemetery, insurance, police, lawyers, too many lawyers. Maggie handled all of it, sharp, fearless, relentless. Thank God for her. My parents never talked much about money. I knew they were comfortable, but I didn't know how much until then. I worked through school, cleaned Dad's office, stuffed envelopes, did errands. I thought that was normal. I didn't know they were quietly saving everything for me. By the time I graduated high school, I had worked part-time for my dad for almost 6 years. Never spent a dime. I never needed to. That money made Harvard easier. Along with summer internships, I always had enough. I was comfortable. I was happy. Looking back, the signs were there. Every year, 2 big vacations, Christmas break and right before school started. The Great Barrier Reef, most of Europe, New York, Louisiana, Disneyland. I traveled the world as a kid and never thought about the cost. We never lacked for anything. If the family needed something, we discussed it, found the best option, and bought it. Simple. Predictable. No drama. No showing off. I just never realized. But now it clicked. My dad wasn't just an accountant. He was a very good accountant. My parents were rich, which now meant I was rich. I remember asking God if I could trade it all to get them back. He didn't answer. They were buried on Thursday. There's nothing more to say about it. After the funeral, I was drained. Body and soul. I needed out. Maggie, can you handle the rest? I asked. I can and I will, she said, then paused. One last thing. You planning to get married anytime soon? Yes, Mags, I think I am. Why? Good, she said. I hope she's as special as you are. And yes, it matters. Thank you, I said. Have I told you lately you're my best friend? At least once a week since we were 8, she said. Not enough, I said. I love you, Mags. I love you too, David, she said softly. The house felt cold, still, too still. Probably the 3rd or 4th time since we moved in that it was this quiet. I loved this house. It was the only home that ever felt truly mine. But walking inside now felt wrong. Worse than the day I learned my parents were gone. The main floor looked untouched, dark, empty. As I started up the stairs, I caught her, Susan, sitting quietly on the couch, staring at our family portrait above the fireplace. It was taken 2 years ago, at the park. We looked good. I looked at the picture and remembered the day. My son looked just like me. The twins were the image of their mother. It had been a fun day, and yet standing there, everything about it felt like it belonged to another life. I stepped inside, door creaking like it didn't want me to. Hey, Susan, I said, dead flat. She was curled up on the couch like a washed-up version of herself. Eyes puffy, hair a mess, rocking my old Harvard sweatshirt like it meant something, pajama pants sagging, drowning her. Hi, honey. She tried to smile. It barely happened. Where are the kids? Still at my parents'. She sounded like she'd rehearsed it, like it was just another Monday. I leaned on the edge of the table, took my time staring at her. You ready to talk to me, Susan? For real this time? She sniffled, adjusted her sweatshirt. I think so. Good. You get one shot. No bullshit. No crying halfway through and pretending you need a break. All of it. Now. I know, David. She swallowed hard. I have no excuses. I cheated on you. Just like that. Said it like she was telling me we were out of milk. No shaking, no flinching, just tired. How long's this been going on? 2 weeks, she said. While you were in Vegas, steering committee stuff, shelter fundraiser. We finished late, went out for drinks. I should have known better. Her voice cracked a little, but she powered through. I should have gotten a cab, should have just gone home. I gave her nothing, just stared. You bring him into my house? I asked. Her head snapped up, horrified. God, no, he got a hotel. I tilted my head. Kids? They were with my parents. I called ahead, I swear. I didn't want them around while I was drunk. Well, at least you got one thing right, I said, sharp. Yeah, she whispered, like agreeing might help. I took a step closer. So was he better than me? Tell me, Susan, was he worth it? She flinched, nose wrinkling like she wanted to slap me, but didn't have the energy. Okay, David, that's enough. My life is already in pieces because I let Mike Thomas screw me. You happy now? I crossed my arms, took my time letting the silence fill up the room. You done? Yes. She was shaking now. I'm sorry. I sighed like I'd just finished listening to the weather report. All right, Susan. All right, that's it? She blinked, confused. Yeah, nothing left but the paperwork. David, please, I'll do anything. I'll make it right. I'll fix it, I swear. You don't gotta fix a thing. I waved her off. Wait, what do you mean? I said don't worry about it. I'll stay out of the house for the week. Tell the kids where I'm at if they need me. I'll be back Saturday. Her face lit up like she thought I meant I'd be back. Pathetic. Oh, David, that's great. I've missed you so much. I smirked. Oh, and I'll be getting tested, just in case. You probably should, too. Mike's reputation ain't exactly clean, if you know what I mean. Her mouth dropped. Jesus, David? I was already walking to the door. Oh, one more thing. Maggie'll be in touch. Accounts are frozen, but she'll make sure you've got just enough to get wherever you're headed. What do you mean, headed? Well, according to Maggie, you'll be out by Friday. Where you go, couldn't care less. Make one of your famous bad decisions. David, wait, please, no. She was losing it now. Good. I stopped at the door, looked right at her. If you need help moving, maybe Mike can lend you a hand. Hell, maybe Jason Smith, too, since you don't seem to remember what he was doing while Mike was giving you the worst day of your life. She crumbled right there. No, please, David, please, it wasn't like that. Oh, God. I left before I could find out if she puked. It didn't matter. Things weren't looking good anyway. The restaurant was perfect. Softer than our first date. No drunk wedding guests this time, just candles and a jazz pianist. Susan hadn't changed, though. Still radiant, still graceful. Dinner was easygoing, but I was nervous. I gave up trying to ease into it. Suze, I've been thinking, I said. I want to take over my dad's firm. I think I could turn it into the company I've always dreamed of. Keep the accounting clients, expand into something new. I thought she'd be happy. Instead, she looked crushed. David, I thought we were doing so well, she said. I can work on it, I swear. I can change. Suze, what? Please don't leave me. I love you. Wait, what? Why would you think I'm leaving? You said you were going back to Chicago. No, I said. I said I'm considering running my father's business. I wanted your opinion before deciding. She still looked shaken but was catching up. Well, she said, forcing a smile, maybe I overreacted. First time for everything. It wasn't going as planned. Time to shift. I signaled the maitre d'. The pianist changed songs. Waiters began dropping single red roses on the table. One by one, I stood, fumbled the box out of my pocket, and dropped to one knee. Suze, I said, since the first day I met you, I knew you're the one. I love you with all my heart. Will you marry me? For a second, I thought I'd blown it. She looked stunned. Then came the flash of a camera. She turned and saw her family behind a partition, smiling, crying, taking pictures. Susan lunged at me. Yes, she said. Oh, David, yes. She nearly knocked me over. I held on to the ring. Later, at Shannon's place. Hi, Susan, Maggie said. Susan smiled weakly. Hi, Shannon. Good to see you. Even like this. Can I come in? Maggie asked. Susan stepped aside. Of course. I need a moment alone with Susan, Maggie said gently. Sure, Shannon replied and disappeared upstairs. Maggie, even in jeans and a t-shirt, looked sharp as ever. Her eyes said everything. I'm sorry. I wish I could fix this. I'm not here as your lawyer, Maggie said. I'm here as your friend. I just want to make sure you're okay. I didn't think I could feel worse. I betrayed Maggie's best friend, and she still came to check on me. He doesn't love me anymore, Susan said. Susan, he loves you more than anyone ever could. You can't just switch that off. But he'll never forgive me. Silly woman, Maggie said softly. He already has. I'm sure of it. What you should worry about is what you haven't told him. Susan blinked. He would forgive me? Maggie nodded. He will, but he'll never forget. Susan started crying. and Maggie hugged her without hesitation. It's going to get better, honey, I promise. After the proposal, I learned what real planning looked like. Turns out Susan, her mom, her sister, and a few friends had been secretly plotting the wedding for months. 2 months later, Maggie flew in to handle the business side. We spent a day signing papers I barely read. I trusted her. Always did. 2 days before the wedding, Maggie and Susan spent the whole day together. When they came back, Susan kissed me, grabbed an overnight bag, and said, "I love you, David. When you see me in 2 days, I'll be yours forever." And she was gone. My bachelor party? Celtics game with Maggie? A quiet win and a drink afterward? She said they'd spent the day talking. About me, about the prenup, apparently already signed. Susan knew everything. Maggie wouldn't share details. "No secrets," she said. "But it's not my story to tell." The wedding? Tasteful, fun, simple. Maggie stood beside me through it all. Best man, best friend. No one seemed to mind. I spent the whole day smiling at Susan, and I didn't care about anything else. When Susan finished speaking, the room went silent, emotional. She promised that, knowing me and my family most of her life, my parents would have fully supported our marriage. They would have loved Susan. "David and I never fought," she said. "Not once in 15 years. People think that's unhealthy. It wasn't. We disagreed plenty. He believed we had to agree to move forward. So we debated. We argued facts. We kept talking until someone had the better case. Sometimes it took months, but never harsh words, never raised voices." She glanced at me, soft-eyed. David accepted my position as often as I accepted his. He was never one-sided. Sometimes he'd just ask questions, help me explain my view. He'd give advice, but once he got it, he'd drop it. Even if I only realized later he was right. And he'd never say, "I told you so." He'd just hug me and say he loved me. She smiled sadly. He always reminded me, "In the office, I'm the boss. At home, I'm your partner." We found solutions that worked for us. It was sweet, and yet, it was half true. Rebecca Davis and I met for lunch every time David traveled. She was my eyes at the office. She kept me informed. Problems, moods, anything unusual. David knew. He even joked about it. "I don't have secrets from you, Suze," he'd say. "But you might want more spies. I forget things sometimes." Becky once told me how David made every department head present propose changes to the senior staff, except for one programmer. David quietly found out the man was terrified of public speaking, so David let him present by conference call from his office. Too much of a hassle to drag everything into the boardroom, David had shrugged. Afterward, he gave the guy a raise. Yes, David was tough, but when it came to family, he wouldn't budge. "Suze," he said once, "you and the kids are my number one. How will they know that if I'm never there? If I can't balance work and family, I'll quit. Be a stay-at-home dad. But you might have to do the cooking." He smiled when he said it, but he meant every word. "The best part of my life is you and the kids," he told me once. "Don't ask me to give that up." The truth? I didn't need romance novels. I woke up next to the real thing every day. My David. The man every woman wanted, but who only had eyes for me. He wore his wedding ring like armor, and I loved him for it. Still, I worried. I hated when he traveled alone. When the kids were little, we went with him. I shifted my schedule, kept the kids busy at the hotel, and we made afternoons count. Even as they grew up, we tried to sneak in family time during his trips. It got harder, but we found ways. Later, when webcams became standard, we used them. He'd have dinner from a hotel room while we sat at our kitchen table. He helped with homework from hundreds of miles away. It made the distance bearable. Best of all, he still ended every night the same. "How was your day, Suze?" he'd ask. "It was fine, dear," I'd say. Then came Shannon. "Dave, please forgive her," Shannon said. "Let her come home." I wasn't surprised. Susan's friends and family were trying everything. "You're a good sister, Shannon," I said. "Susan would thank you for defending her." "What'll it take? She'll do anything." "I know she will, but it's impossible. I won't insult her by asking." Shannon wouldn't quit. She wanted hope. There wasn't much to give. "Jesus, Dave, one mistake, one time, let her come home." "It wasn't one time," I said. "What?" "She wasn't honest with me, Shannon. I doubt she told you everything either. Doesn't matter. Once would have been enough." "But it's not just what she did. It's why." "Drop the philosophy, Dave," Shannon said. "Talk straight. I'm not that smart, but I can still prove you wrong. Be a gentleman. Keep it simple." I almost laughed. Even smiling hurt these days. "I'm not ready to tell you everything," I said. "Some of it stays between me and Susan, but I'll give you something. I'm not sure it'll help." "Try me," Shannon said. Maybe I'm smarter than we both think. Before Shannon arrived, I had gone through nearly all our photos from 15 years together. They were scattered around me. Tell you what, I said, I'm getting a drink. Pick out a few photos of Susan, preferably ones you were present for. Then, when you pick them, cover everything but her eyes. Want a drink? White wine, Shannon said, eyeing me like I'd lost it. Maybe I had. 15 minutes later, I handed her the wine. My glass was just water. Ready? I asked. Sure, Dave. What's this about? Show me the first photo. She held one out, Susan smiling proudly at her ICU promotion. Good choice. That was a great night, I said. Shannon blinked. Okay, that's creepy, like showing a stranger you have a third nipple. Lucky guess, I said. She stared at the photo, confused, then tried another. In this one, I said. She's holding Michael the day he was born, exhausted but glowing with love. Shannon's hand trembled slightly as she pushed it aside. She grabbed a third. Are you sure about that one? I asked. Just tell me, she said. Your 21st birthday. Susan's smiling, but she's thrown off. Later, she told me it was because you stumbled in drunk and confessed to making out with your girlfriend, lipstick everywhere. Shannon's face dropped. Holy crap. I never lied to Susan, I said, so she could never lie to me. Shannon struggled to speak. Shannon, do you think I'm an arrogant a-hole? I asked. No, you're one of the kindest people I know, she said. Do I act like God's gift to women? No. Would you be shocked if I told you I get hit on every single day? Honestly, that sounds low, she said. Do you think I've ever cheated on Susan? She paused. No, I don't. Thank you, I said. That means something. I leaned forward. Do you love your sister? More than anything. Would you ever hurt her? Even if she never found out? Never. And why are you offering to sleep with me? Her eyes changed instantly. What? She whispered. I'm saying, if you told me right now, you'd take me upstairs, would you? Silence. Yes, she whispered. She wouldn't have to know. That's why I've always respected you, I said calmly, because you never did. I promised Susan I'd be faithful. I knew exactly what I was giving up when I said yes to that promise. Shannon's eyes stayed on me. And I'd give it up 1,000 times over for Susan. But she's not that woman anymore. Shannon nodded, eyes wet. I stood up. Thanks for coming, Shannon. Lock up when you leave. I left the room. When I woke up, Shannon was gone. Later. So, how did it go? Susan asked. It was, interesting, Shannon said. Does he know I asked you to meet him? No. Any progress? No, Susan sighed. Shannon, help me out here. Well, did you tell him the truth? Shannon asked. I told him the truth, Susan said. Not everything, but the truth. Oh, Shannon said, then you're screwed. Before I continue, let me say something. I'm not psychic. I don't read minds. I just love Susan and Maggie so much that I learned them. Every look, every expression, it stayed with me. After years, it became second nature, not magic, just paying attention. Maggie suggested counseling. I was surprised. I thought she was against it. Emotions don't belong in court, David, she said. Susan's emotional. Her lawyer's trying to give her what she wants, not what she needs. We have no proof, no pictures, no receipts, just good guesses and hearsay. I saw it in her eyes. That won't hold in court, Maggie said. But counseling will. During those sessions, she'll give us what we need. Plus, counseling records can be sealed. It protects her reputation. So yes, counseling is a win. 2 things, I said. Remind me never to get in your face. And thanks for taking care of her when I can't. When I first took over my father's firm, the staff was skeptical. Rightfully so. I had the education, but not the real-world hours. I spent 3 months learning quietly. Then I gave them a detailed plan and a full month to comment. After that, I reviewed everything with the senior staff. When I implemented their best ideas, I won the room. Over the next 6 months, I laid out my 10-year plan to turn the firm into a full-fledged consulting company. Everyone was on board, except Jason Smith, head of audits. Jason was exactly what I thought. Brilliant accountant, complete a-hole. He was my father's right hand, but he didn't have what it took for the bigger picture. As we expanded, Jason stayed small, clinging to his audit division. I let him. No fight needed. He became irrelevant. 2 years later, I barely remembered he existed. Then one day, Susan mentioned him. Jason Smith is one of my volunteers, she said. He works for you. I had to ask Miss Davis who he was. I stopped by Jason's office later that week, thanked him for helping one of our charities. I still didn't remember his face. It wasn't until the company picnic that it clicked. He showed up while Susan and I were loading water guns for the annual staff war. He smiled, made small talk, and left. Nothing special, except I couldn't stop noticing him afterward. Later, I spotted Jason and another guy, heavy, sloppy, talking to a young intern. Flirting wasn't the problem, but when Jason started touching her hands, she tensed up. "Who's the intern?" I asked Miss Davis. "Molly Stewart." I walked straight toward them. "Hey, Jason, who's your friend?" I asked. Big Mike. Mike Thomas." "Nice to meet you, Mike." I turned to Molly. "Molly, could you help me and my wife with the children's literacy group you asked about?" "Of course, Mr. Stevens." I didn't wait for Jason or Mike to respond. Once we were away, I extended my hand. "David Stevens, Miss Stewart." "Molly, please," she said, smiling. "Pleasure to meet you. You have a way home?" "Yes, sir." She found Susan and spent the rest of the afternoon talking about the program. Driving home, Susan raised an eyebrow. "Molly's sweet," she said. "But a bit young for you, don't you think?" "You know me," I said. "Always looking for something new." She didn't laugh. "I just got her out of an awkward situation," I said. "By the way, do you work closely with Jason Smith?" "Not really. We cross paths." "I don't like him." "David, you're paranoid." "Maybe." She seemed like she wanted to say more. I still wonder what it was. Amanda Skinner looked like someone who belonged in the woods, studying squirrels. But she was a top-tier therapist. Maggie swore by her. Maggie wanted the counseling to work. She wanted Susan and me back together. I didn't understand it, but I knew it. Mandy, that's what she preferred, greeted us warmly. The room felt like a friend's living room, not a therapist's office. "Let's begin," she said. "Susan, what do you want out of this?" Susan's voice cracked. "I want my husband back. I want forgiveness. I want him to stop the divorce." Mandy nodded. "David?" "I want Susan to have every chance to change my mind, so that when this ends, she won't wonder if she left anything unsaid." Mandy raised an eyebrow. "Interesting. What's the biggest problem in your marriage?" Susan whispered, "I cheated. It's all my fault." Mandy turned to me. "David?" "Honesty." Mandy scribbled something down. "We'll start with joint sessions. Same time next week?" Susan nodded. "Yes. Fine by me," I said. "I prefer Mandy," she added. "Sure, Doc." I stood up. "See you next week." I walked out. Everyone said I was handling it well. The truth? Most nights I cried alone. I'm not ashamed to say it. Being in the same room with Susan was hell. Part of me wanted to hug her and take her home. Another part wanted to bury her 6 feet under. If not for the kids, I might have lost it. They were crushed. But comforting them reminded me why I loved Susan once. "Why can't Mommy come home?" one of the twins asked. "She loves you. She's always crying." Wrapped around my little finger, more like 2 little fingers, twins who looked just like her. "What did she do, Daddy?" Michael asked. "Straight to the point, just like me." "That stays between me and your mother," I said. "Had to be something bad," Michael said. "Luke Finch says his dad called his mom a crazy witch." "We know how to spell witch," the twins added, dead serious. "We're not stupid." "Okay, enough," I said. "Listen to me. If you ever hear someone say something bad about your mother, it won't be from me, and I'd advise them not to say it around me." They nodded, still sad. "This is hard. Sometimes moms and dads can't live together anymore. It doesn't mean we love you less. It just means we have to figure out logistics." "What logistics?" one asked. "The kind where you get to see either of us whenever you want." They stayed quiet, sad but brave. 4th counseling session. "I know what's bothering you, David," Mandy said. I didn't respond. We weren't getting anywhere. Susan was still stuck in denial. The longer this dragged on, the worse it would end. I knew I couldn't be her husband anymore. But the kids still needed their mother. I'd have to find a way to co-parent. No choice. But every session circled back to me. Could I forgive? "David," Mandy said, "sufferers of betrayal often suffer from feelings of inadequacy. It's understandable. But you won't heal if you won't talk about it." She didn't get it. Susan wasn't just a cheater. It wasn't that simple. It took 3 sessions for Susan to admit Jason Smith was more than just a volunteer. She cried, apologized, the usual. But that wasn't it. "I'm not mad," I said. "I'm sad. My marriage is over. I've forgiven her. But it's done. No magic words are going to change that." Mandy raised a brow. So you don't feel inferior? No, I knew about the affairs long before she told you. Jason Smith. Fine, blah, blah, blah. The fat fool gave her chlamydia anyway. I don't care. It's not about Zex. It never was. If Susan had just gotten drunk and made a mistake, we wouldn't be here. Mandy frowned. Mr. Stevens, you're deflecting. You don't know how Susan feels. She told me. Susan shot up. I didn't tell you anything, David. Calm down, Mandy said. I raised my hands. Easy. I have a proposal. 10 minutes. We do it my way. Then 5 minutes to explain. After that, you can run things however you like. Mandy hesitated. Fine. I'll wear the headphones. Susan, cover your mouth when you speak. I nodded. Let's begin. For 10 minutes, I just watched her. Nothing more. And it hurt like hell. When time was up, Mandy took off the headphones. Mr. Stevens? Topic 1, I said. She loves me. She wants this marriage. Mandy scribbled. Topic 2, the kids. She loves them more than life. And topic 3? Mandy asked. No idea. Whatever it was, she told you the truth. Mandy blinked. It was who she thought would win the election. She's terrible at politics. Said voters wouldn't elect a corrupt ex-Chicago city manager. Poor girl actually believed that. Silence. Susan looked like she might break. Topic 4, I said. She lied. Topic 5, she wishes it was true, but it's not. Susan tried to hold herself together. Mandy just stared. Susan, I said, I never lied to you, ever. I promised you'd always get the truth from me, no matter how much it hurt. You never had to lie, and yet you did. Susan's voice cracked. I'm sorry about the car. What? The PTA meeting. I wrecked the car. You're present. I didn't want to tell you, so I made us take your car. I rehearsed excuses for 30 minutes, but you were already laughing before I even finished. Yes, I said. Susan wiped her eyes. I should have known I couldn't lie to you. Shannon was right. She was screwed. I pressed on. Susan, how did Big Mike convince you to do that? He didn't. What does Jason have? Pictures? Video? She swallowed hard. Video. 3 minutes. And why the scramble to make me cheat on you? Becky saw me leave the hotel. We were supposed to have lunch. I forgot. She saw me. I knew it was only a matter of time. I turned to Mandy. 4th topic. He's got video. Maggie, I need that tape. Handle it. Maggie's voice was calm. I'll take care of it, David. No, I said. I need it done fast, or you'll be testing your skills in court, because if I handle it, I'll bury him. Maggie nodded. I understand. The next day, 2 plain manila envelopes sat on my desk. I stared at them for a long time before finally giving in after lunch. Inside the first, Jason Smith's resignation letter and a signed 10-year non-compete. The second was probably a DVD. I didn't open it. Anything else, Mr. Stevens? Becky asked. Yes, take this to HR and post a listing for a senior tax accountant. And destroy this, I said, handing her the second envelope. I'll personally destroy it, she said. Thank you, Becky. David, Mandy started, you're clearly aware of the problems here. Susan regrets it. She loves you. You love her. There's something to build on. I believe all of that, I said. It doesn't matter. What's holding you back? An impossible task. Mandy didn't get it. She kept pushing. Susan just sat there, defeated. Susan, I asked, why'd you finally give up? I don't understand. What finally did it? Jason chased you for years. What changed? David, it wasn't 5 years, Susan. He showed up at your charities. You told me about him. I even thanked him. 5 years. So what made you change? It was just one time. 3 minutes, sure. But why? I don't know, she whispered. Or maybe you do, but you can't say, I said. Doc, this is where you might want to start paying attention. Susan nodded faintly. It's possible. You see, Doc, I said, Susan has lied to me exactly 3 times. Once about a dinner reservation, once about wrecking the car, and once about leaving someone's name out. 3 lies in 15 years. Mandy shook her head. I still don't see why that's the deal breaker. Because she told the truth. Explain. I looked at Susan. Why? Susan? I don't know. She's not really a lesbian. You know that, don't you? Susan suddenly said. What? I asked. I'm talking about Maggie, she said quietly. Susan, don't, I warned. I just wanted you to talk to me. Even arguing would have been better than silence. I'm talking now. She's in love with you, Susan said. Always has been. I stared at her. She told the truth, Doc. That's why we're done. Susan's composure broke, and watching it hurt more than I expected. My dad always said, put it all on the table. If you can name the problem, you can start fixing it. It worked for us for years. Susan and I used to talk about everything, every little thing. I loved looking into her eyes and knowing she was happy. It made me proud. Obviously, communication isn't the issue, Mandy said. You'd think, I replied. But here's the problem. She didn't lie. I was gone for a week. Every night I asked, how was your day, Sus? Every night it was fine, dear. Susan's tears came fast. And every single time, she meant it. Even the day she spent 3 minutes with Jason Smith, she meant it. It was fine. She didn't worry. She didn't care. That's what kills me. It wasn't a mistake. She was okay with it. I choked it down. I could live with a lot, but not this. Not a wife who thinks cheating is... Fine, I won't. Silence. Susan just sat there, blank. Not screaming, not begging, just gone. Mandy calmly stood up, took my hand, and walked me to the door. Thank you, David, she said. Now I understand why Maggie sent you. Don't worry about Susan. I'll take care of her. Thank you. Let me know if I can help. She's still the mother of my children. I will, Mandy said gently. But for today, go. I'm not a self-righteous fool. Everything I did for us. Staying honest wasn't hard. It was just right. I did it for Susan. For weeks, I obsessed over one question. Why do marriages fail? I needed an answer. Something to make sense of what happened, something to pin the blame on, even if it was me. I read 27 books. All of them said the same things. Communicate, be honest, love unselfishly, put her first, stay loyal, adapt, listen, support her dreams. I did all of that. And yet, here I was. 2 truths hit me. 1, I could write a book about keeping a marriage alive. 2, I'd never get the answer I was looking for because I hadn't done anything wrong. And that truth hurt worse than blame ever could. I gave up everything for Susan and the kids, not as a sacrifice, but because I wanted to. That was the life I chose. She was my dream. They were my dream. And what I gave, they gave back. But here's the problem. To stay married to Susan, I'd have to become someone I'm not. And I can't. I'm not built for open marriages. I'm not a man who shares. I'm not someone who tolerates infidelity. I won't act like it doesn't matter. I tried to find something I'd done wrong so I could fix it, forgive myself, maybe even forgive her, but I came up empty. That was the real torment. Worse, the memories were poisoned now. Every laugh, every smile, every dance, all of it rotted under the weight of betrayal. The flirtation I once brushed off, a hand on someone's shoulder, a smile held too long. It all rewrote itself in my mind. Not innocent, not harmless. Had my blind trust been the beginning of the end? Was I the fool that let it happen? Maggie kept me in counseling. You need to try everything, David, she said. Only then can you walk away without regret. So I stayed. Susan and I still talked, but only about the kids, never about us. She seemed to want fights. I gave her silence, cold, short, controlled. I was angry, but I kept it in. The divorce stalled. Maggie wouldn't let me pull the trigger. After every session, I told her I was done. She said, "Not today, David. You're not ready yet." And so I was back in that chair. Dr. Skinner asked about reconciliation. Again, I lost it. Jesus, Susan, give me something. Why? Why did you do this to us? She paused. I couldn't live up to it. What? I couldn't meet the standard. I have flaws. I'm human. I gave in. Dr. Skinner waited. I didn't. Her silence didn't help me. At the time, it felt exciting, Susan said. I thought I was gaining something. I wasn't thinking. It was a mistake. But that doesn't erase what I did. I'll never understand, I said. I mean, I could sleep with half the women who throw themselves at you, and I don't even swing that way. But you never even played the game. And because I was with you, people flirted with me. I was yours. She looked down. What kind of woman keeps a man like you? She whispered. I had to be amazing in bed, right? Like, special. You were, I said quietly. She nodded, tears rising. Felt like a hooker sometimes. At first it was nice. Then it got exhausting. My friends always said you were too good to be true, said you must have a girl on the side, said no man could be that perfect. She paused. I did it for you. I know, I said. I knew the moment you broke down. You can't fake that kind of grief. You never cheated, she said, crying. No, Dr. Skinner spoke up. We're accountable for our choices and what they cost. The air in the room got tight. It was hard to breathe. Susan nodded. It wasn't your fault. It was mine. My fear. My need to test something that didn't need testing. You can let go now, I said. I get it, I stood. I need to go. Goodbye, Susan. I walked out the door and into whatever came next. After I left, Skinner turned to Susan. That was brave. You accepted responsibility. That's a big step. Susan shook her head. He's not coming back. Don't lose hope. You've come so far. I haven't lost hope. Just hope in David. Maggie will help him now. Maggie? She's loved him all along. Susan had once begged, please don't shut me out, David. We'll always have the kids. I know I can't have you, but don't leave me completely. I didn't respond. I didn't want to talk about it. Not that. Not anymore. When I got home, Maggie was waiting, as always. She looked at me, worried. Then she sighed, that long, heavy sigh that said she already knew. Let's talk about this, okay? She said gently. Sure, Mags. Here. No, let's go into the living room. We moved through the kitchen quietly, like we'd been doing it for years. No words, no need. Maggie settled into the chair across from me, pulling her knees up like she always did when the conversation turned serious. There's something I've never told you, she said. It's not easy. I leaned in, listening. When I was a child, something happened that changed me. It's the reason we left San Francisco and ended up across the street from you. For a long time, I didn't trust anyone. I barely spoke to anyone outside my family. Then I met you. I remembered it instantly. The shy girl on the staircase when our families first met. You slipped past your parents, came right up to me and said, Hi, I'm David. We're going to be best friends. She smiled faintly. And you were, right from the start. I smiled. I remember. You were the only person I trusted. And somehow you always knew when I needed you without me saying a word. Her voice softened. I never lied to you, David. Ever. I've always loved you. I just never said it out loud. You were my safe place, my anchor. I knew you loved me too, in your own way. I swallowed hard. When we got older, and you turned into the man you are now, kind, strong, gentle, I realized I loved you differently. But I also knew what you wanted most, a family. And I couldn't give you that. Her eyes dropped. So when you met Susan, I was happy for you, truly. I wanted you to have everything you deserved. She shifted uncomfortably. Before your wedding, I told Susan that I loved you, not to interfere, but so there'd be no secrets. I promised her I'd never stand in the way, but I also told her, if you two ever didn't make it, I'd be here, waiting. No regrets. She glanced up at me. She told you, didn't she? Yes, today. I could feel it now. It had always been there. Maggie wasn't just my best friend. She was the quiet, steady love I had leaned on without knowing it. I always loved her. I just never dared name it. When I finally kissed her, for real, not as friends, it wasn't fireworks. It was relief, safety, peace. And I knew I belonged with her.